So we are implementing today a C program for queues using array. Okay, so we need the following header files, and then we define the size of the queue using the hash define directive. Okay, so we define one max, the size of the queue is max, and the value of that is 5. So this is a constant. Okay, then we start execution from our main function. Okay, so we declare here all our values. So we define the size of the array. So the array that we are going to use as a queue is called ARR. Okay, so ARR is going to stand for the array. This is the name for our queue. And we, since the queue is going to be empty initially, we initialize the front and the rear equal to -1. So although the variable names here are p front and p rear, I will just keep referring to them as front and rear. Okay, so don't get confused. So actually the names are p front and p rear. So initially, let me just update our diagram. So initially we are having front equal to rear equal to -1. Name of the array is ARR. So this is our queue, and this is our size 5. Okay, queue of size 5. Then I call the enqueue function for the first time, and I pass the following parameters: the queue, the data that I want to update, and the values of the front and the rear. Okay, I pass them by reference. Can anyone tell me why I pass these values by reference? Why we pass values by reference? So whenever you return the values that are passed by reference, the changes are permanent. Okay, if you pass by value, then whatever changes happen inside the function, the changes would not be reflected outside that function. So therefore we pass by reference, so that the changes are permanent, updated permanently. Okay, the new value gets reflected even outside the function. So when we call this function for the first time, let me just make it red so that this function is called. Okay, so we go to that function enqueue. This is the enqueue function. Okay, so this is your array. The 10 will be stored in this variable item, and these are your 2 pointers, front and rear. They will have the value here as -1, -1, because we had initialized them here in the main function. If you remember, we have initialized them to -1, and we pass these values as parameters. So the parameters get passed here, and now these two will be equal to -1, -1. Okay, so next we check if the rear is equal to max -1. So when we check for that, this condition is false, because rear value is -1 and max -1 is 4. Max value is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. So this condition is not true. So what we do? We come here. Okay. Now this is a clever way of writing programming. Okay. Instead of writing, I could have written here else also. I could have written here else also. Okay. I could have written here else. But instead of writing else, what it means? If that top part is not true, okay, then if this part is not true, then this portion of the code will be executed. Okay, so in other words, it is like else only. So therefore that else word is not put. But in case you all want to put it in your program, you all can always put. Okay, no problem. So just like we had discussed in the previous lecture, what we do then, whenever we have to do an insertion, we increase the value of rear. Okay, so we increment the value of rear. Rear value was equal to -1. So -1 plus when we do, rear will become equal to 0. So now rear is equal to 0. Okay, so that's why I'm placing rear here. Rear is equal to 0. In the next step, whatever is the data that I had passed, 10, which is stored in this variable item, that data is stored in the queue. Okay, it's stored in the queue wherever rear is present. Rear is present at index 0, so 10 will be stored here. Next, I check if it is the first insertion in the queue. If it is the first insertion in the queue, then the value of P front will be equal to -1. So when I check, yes, it is the first insertion. Therefore, this front value is equal to -1. So this condition is true. So if this condition is true, what I do? I make front value equal to 0. So this front value now also becomes equal to 0. So now both front and rear are pointing to the first element. Front is pointing to 10 because it is the first element, and rear is pointing to 10 because it is the last element. Okay. So this is how the first insertion happens. When you exit this function, you go back to the main function, you come back here, and you will do a second enqueue. Okay. So now we want to insert a value 20. When we insert the value 20, we come here. Okay. Again, you will check the value of rear with max -1. Rear value is 0. Max -1 is 4. Not true. So you will come here, increase the value of rear. So now rear will become equal to 1. Okay. And there you will insert 20 using the next statement. This statement. Okay. When you check this condition, obviously you know by now that front value is not -1, front value is 0. So this will not be executed. This condition is false. Okay. So like that, now we keep inserting. As you can see in my main function, I will do these three functions directly. Okay. It is pretty simple. So I think it should be self-explanatory. Okay. 30, 40, 50, 30, 40, 30, I will do directly. So what will happen? When I insert 30, rear will get incremented. It will come here. Okay. 30 will come here. Again, when I want to insert 40, rear will get incremented. 40 will come here. Remember, front is not getting changed. Okay. Front remains there. So again, when you do insert, rear gets updated and 30 gets inserted there. So now we have done all these three insertions. So we have inserted 5 values in the queue: 10, 20, 30, 40, 30. Okay. Now, when I try to insert for the sixth time, what should happen, students? When I try to insert for the sixth time, do I have place in the queue? Like you can see in the diagram, I do not have place in the queue. Okay. So when I try to insert for the sixth time, what should I get? What is that condition known as? What's that condition known as? Stack queue overflow. Okay, correct. Queue overflow. So let's see whether the queue overflow condition is detected by our code. Our programming code should detect it. When I call this function for the sixth time, what will happen? We come here. I check the value of P rear. Okay, P rear. What's the value of rear? 4. Okay, value of rear is 4. Now I compare it with max -1. Max is 5, 5 minus 1, 4. So this condition 4 equal to 4 is true. So what I do? I print the statement, queue is full, or you can say queue overflow. Okay, you can write queue overflow also. You can write queue is full. And once you do that, you don't want to execute the rest of the statements. Okay, you don't want to execute these statements. So since you don't want to execute the statements, what you do? One simple trick is to return back without executing the statement is you just put the keyword return. So when you don't want to execute these statements, after this printf statement, you just put this keyword return. So what it will do? It will send your control back from the main function from this enqueue function back to the main function without executing these 4 lines. So from here itself, your control comes back to the main function here. Okay. So that is what happens because of the return statement. Next, we call the display function. Now in the display function, we want to display all these values 10, 20, 30, 40, 30. Okay. So let's see how the display function works here. So I pass in the display function my q, that is ARR, the value, the present values of front and rear. So present value of front is 0 and the value of rear is 4. So I pass the value of front as 0, value of rear is 4. Okay, and I pass them here. So now all those are received here by these variables. Okay, your array is received here by this pointer. The front is received by p front and the rear is received by p rear. Okay. Then I use this for loop to display all the values between the front of the queue and the rear of the queue. So all values between the front of the queue and the rear of the queue are displayed using this for loop. So I say for I equal to p front, the value of front is 0. So this front value is replaced by 0. So it means I equal to 0. Okay. Till when you are going to display I less than or equal to rear. What is value of rear? Value of rear is 4. I'm going to display from I equal to 0 till I less than or equal to 4. So all the values in my queue will be displayed. So I will be displaying these values 10, 20, 30, 40, 30. Okay. So that is how your queue will be, the display function works. So once your display function is worked, then we call the delete function. When I call the delete function for the first time, again I am passing the value of the array name, that is your queue ARR, the values of your front and rear. So value of your front is 0, value of your rear is 4. Okay. When I call the dequeue function, this is the dequeue function. Okay. Again, here we check whether your queue is empty using this condition. So when we check for this condition, obviously it is false because front is not equal to -1, it is equal to 0. So since it is false, we come here. Okay, we come here. I retrieve the data that is stored here, 10. Okay, 10 that is stored here in the queue, 10. I store it in the variable data. I store it in the variable data. In the next step, what I do, I just, since I'm deleting this 10, okay, since I'm deleting this 10, I replace the 10 by 0. Okay, you need not do this line. Okay, you can even omit this line, nothing happens. Okay, but here I just do one programming additional, that I replace that value that I'm deleting with 0. So the value that was deleted is already stored in this variable data. Okay, 10 is already stored in this variable data. After I've stored that 10 in this variable data, in the next step what I do, I replace that 10 with 0. But if you all want, you need not do that. Okay. So next I check whether after doing the deletion, okay, as you can see here, when I'm doing deletion, I'm using the front pointer. Okay, like you all we have all discussed, while doing deletion we are using only the front pointer. Next I check is after doing deletion, will the queue be empty? If the queue will be empty, then front and rear should be equal to -1. So we have seen that previously. I've discussed this in class also on Wednesday and Thursday when I came to class. That when you're doing the deletion and when the queue becomes empty, just before the queue becomes empty, the value of front and rear is equal. So we check for that condition whether front is equal to rear. So when we check, we know that front is 0 and rear is 4. So it is not equal. So I go to the, I don't execute the if part, but I come to the else part. Since I have done a deletion, what should happen? I should increment the value of front. So what I do? I increase the value of front from 0 to 1. Okay. So now this represents your queue from front till rear. All these values 20, 30, 40 and 30. Okay, and after that I return this data that was deleted, and I can print this data in the main function. Okay, so I can, after returning this data here, okay, or I can even print it here itself. So it depends. Okay, so here you can write one, you can just modify this data. Okay, you can have one here, variable d, can have one variable d here. that receives the data, okay, that you're sending. So you're returning this data 10, okay. So D receives this data that is being sent by that function, and then you can print that data using a printf statement. You could write something like this and print the data, okay. So that will stand for your data that you are just deleted. So like this, you can put a printf statement after every dequeue statement, okay. And similarly, you can put something like this, d equal to everywhere here after before each delete. Okay. This is how your delete function works. So second time when you call the delete function, suppose you're calling the delete function again, okay. So now which element will get deleted? Where front is pointing? Front is pointing to 20. So 20 will get deleted. Okay, let's see how it works. When I call delete, so now the value of front is what? Front value is 1. Okay, rear value is 4. I pass those values here. I check this condition, it is false. So I come here, and what I extract from the queue now? 20. Okay, I remove 20 from the queue and store it in data. That happens in this line. Okay, in this line. The next step, since 20 has been already removed from the queue, I replace it with 0. Okay, I replace this with 0. After replacing with 0, I check whether value of front and rear is equal. So you can see in the diagram, value of front and rear is not equal. So I go to the else part. So in the else part, I increase the value of front. So front will go from 1 to 2. Okay, from 1 it becomes 2. So like this, I keep deleting the data. I return this data to the main function. Here it is received in this D, and then I can print it by using a printf statement. Okay. So like this, you can keep printing the data that you deleted. You can say here deleted data, something like that. You can put one message. Okay. So like that, now I call the function third, fourth, fifth times. So let's do it quickly now. So when I call it for the third time, okay, what will happen? Again, you will check this condition. It is false because front value is 2, okay, not equal to -1. When you come here, you extract the data. So now the data that you're extracting is 30 or deleting is 30. After deleting the data, you make that 30 equal to 0. And then you compare the value of front and rear, whether it is equal. It is not equal. Go to the else part, increment front. When you increment front, it will come here. Okay. And then you return this data. The data that you have deleted was 30. Return this data to the main function here. Return it to the main function here, D. And then you can use this printf statement. You can use this printf statement to print the value. When I call this for the fourth time, okay, when I call it for the fourth time, what will happen? Front value is 3, rear value is 4 now. So when you check this, it's not true. So now you, what data you're deleting? 40. Okay, so you delete that 40, replace it with 0. So that is done in these 2 lines here. Check whether the front and rear is equal. It's not equal. So what you will do? Increase the value of front. So when you increase the value of front will come here. Okay. Front will come here. So front and rear is now equal to 4. After doing that, okay, return the data. What is the data you're returning? 40. You send this data back to the main function here, okay, and then you can print the data. When you call the delete function for the 5th time, okay, check the value of front. front is not -1. So you come here, delete the data. So delete and store it in the data variable. So this is deleted 30. Replace that 30 with 0. This is replaced with 0. Okay. After doing that, check whether that was the last element in the queue. See, if it is the last element, value of front and rear is equal to the same value. So here in this case, front and rear is equal to 4. So when you check this condition, yes, it is true. So that means you have deleted the last element. As you can see here in the queue, you have already deleted all the elements. So therefore, when the queue is empty, what you do? Front and rear is equal to -1. So now your front and rear will become equal to -1. Okay. After doing that, since you are executing the if part, else part is not executed. Okay, and you return the data. The data that you have deleted was 30. So you send this data back to the main function here, okay, and then you can display it using a printf statement. Okay, so this is how your delete function works. Now again, if I call the delete function in the main function here, what would happen if you would call the delete function for the another time? If I call the delete function one more time, what would happen? For the 6th time, suppose I call this for the 6th time, what will happen? It will be queue underflow. Okay, let's call it and see. Let's call it. I'm calling this for the one more time. Okay, for the 6th time. When I call it for the 6th time, when you go here, okay. So now you check this condition, it is true because front is equal to -1. So what it will say? Queue is empty. You can say queue underflow and it will return the null value. Okay. Why have to why you cannot simply write return? Because here you have said int. It has to, your function has to return some value. Okay. If you simply write return, then your program will give an error. So you have to return one null value. Okay. When you return the null value, obviously here in the last statement here, null will get printed. Okay. Then you call your display function and nothing is there to display. Okay, because your front and rear is equal to -1. So this is how your queue function works.